Okay, let's see if I can get this ready to go. Alright, let's fucking make fucking go, dude. Okay. Let's get some fucking work done. Hell yeah. We're gonna get some work done, yeah. I do like this music, but I think I'm going to go with a different vibe. I think I want some... Yeah, I think I want some, Yeah, I think I want some... Let's try this. Ooh, this might not be stream safe, actually. Now we'll do... We'll do some dwarf song. Yeah. That'll help. Over here. Stay here, camera. Alright. We ready? Let's do it. We got a lot of work to do, chat. We got a lot of... Man, so much. What am I working on today? Today, I will be working on the rest of the imbuements. I plan on finishing them. That is my goal. There's still quite a bit to go, but I think I'm gonna pull it off, so we'll see.
ringing bells in places deep where dark things sleep, in hollow halls beneath the fells, for ancient king and elvish lord, there many a gleaming golden horde they shaped and wrought, and light they caught to hide in gems on hilt of sword, on silver necklaces they strung the flowering stars.
Let's see here. So, AC, imbuement. I think I really do want the, actually. Let me walk you through my thought process here. So, I want the modifiers to be small. And even though it goes up to 7, I don't think 7 is a bad pseudo cap. If somebody has an 18 strength, they attack with a longsword, they got a +4 to hit. If they're 3rd level blessed, they have a +3 to hit. If they're tier 3 blessed, that means they have a +7. Yeah, it seems simple to me. Doesn't have a bunch of riders and a bunch of stuff they have to keep track of. Easy to understand states. Yeah, I don't really see a problem with that. At least I don't think. Well, I won't know for certain until we start doing testing. So, empower. Let's see, imbued incurs. See, I want this to be against the physical ones, like prone and paralyzed and stunned, probably. Maybe stunned and paralyzed. Yeah, stunned and paralyzed. So stunned/numbed. No, not prone. Whoops. Paralyzed, immobilized. AC and armor just has to be rescaled because people don't have proficiency bonus to hit. I don't think so. I don't think it needs to be rescaled at all. Like, AC has, and always kind of will be by the base design, be outpaced by attack. Like, it just will. Making AC-centric builds is harder than making attack-centric builds. There's more support for it, especially in the base game. I don't think I need to scale AC. I mean, that doesn't even really matter, because how AC is calculated will be different because there are active defenses, right? So because there's active defenses, that means that AC becomes a less determinant factor into avoiding damage and ill effects, right? And not only that, but you have like all the passives that the layered armor effects are going to give you. So we'll see what we have to do with AC. I think the lack of a proficiency bonus just makes the game simpler. I've always felt like the proficiency bonus was a really... I mean, I guess it was an okay way to deal with level scaling, but I just haven't liked it. I don't like the rate in which you get it. I don't like how it's in a weird off-kilter number. Like, yeah. I'd much rather have proficiency, instead of giving you a statistical bonus, give you access to more abilities that you can make decisions with, right? Which is what the point of this system is. Like, I want there to be big decisions, small numbers, you know? So, and to me, taking out proficiency as a bonus and making abilities that you can do to affect the game space because you're proficient with that weapon. Kind of like what Baldur's Gate did. Baldur's Gate did a thing like that, where weapons had different attack forms if you were proficient with it. Now, they were not very impactful, not really, in the game, at least from what I experienced. But I do think the idea is solid. I just have to figure out how to incorporate something like that players will actually use. I think it'll be really interesting to see if I can set it up to where casters learn spells and martial and wanderer characters learn proficiencies in a similar manner, which gives them an expanding tree where it's item-based versus spell-based, right? And then you kind of expand outward from that for the ones that can learn a little bit of both, and then you kind of just make adjustments as needed. I think it'd be good. Okay, I've got resistance to stunned. I've got resistance to paralyzed. I think I just give this a bunch of resistance-based stuff. It's okay if there's overlap, I think. I don't see there being a problem with there being some overlap. I should probably order these properly, though. I think prone, stunned, paralyzed. And for tier 5, we get like imbued, incurs resistance to critical hits, maybe? No, that'll just make him immune to it. If I make it half damage. Well, I suppose if they're immune, then they're immune to the critical effects that crits can cause, rather than just the damage. Yeah, okay, that still works. I'll have to go over what critical actually means as well. I think I'm going to change it up a little bit. Yeah. Have to figure that out, really. Anyway, how you guys doing today? I'm over here yapping to myself. Delivering flowers as the Flower King does. Oh, so that worked out then? Notable rules. Wait, did I not do... Oh, I guess I didn't need any for that. Do I need any for this? I don't think so. Not yet. He stated he didn't know he texted me that, and he didn't know what he was thinking. Okay. That's alarming, but I guess it's fine. check what I did with rage. Make sure. Rage is supposed to be the risky one. Let's see. What am I going to do with trance? Double check. My thoughts exactly. Ship do be wild. I gotta put some music on. My thoughts are starting to drift. Maybe something without. Let's do this. Okay. Checking something real quick, chat. Wait, why did it zoom in on me again? This camera, man. I swear, it's just. Ah! I'm having trouble with what to do with trance. Because it's like, on the one hand, I want to do attack and AC and stuff. But I feel like I have to be careful on the overt specialist builds and stuff, right? Because if somebody casts, if somebody casts Bless on a tranced character, I mean, that's gonna be a pretty big attack bonus. It might be like, that's too much for people that don't do that to really compete, right? Or I might be... Yeah, because what I want, right, is for people to do these combinations, but I don't want the meta shift of those combinations to just overshadow those people that don't do those types of things, right? Maybe I should look at it a different way. Maybe I should look at it as availability. Trance is something that like 3 classes are going to have. So they should have an impact. Thing is, though, why wouldn't you choose Reaver as one of the 3? I gotta make sure I'm not cutting my knees off. Okay, that's just general good stuff. Guard. I gotta figure out what to do with guard. Well, I'll probably reinforce or something. Dual wield, that's gonna be useful. Formation, great weapon specialist. Trance. Make it so similar bonuses don't stack. No, I don't want to do that. I want bonuses to stack when they're supposed to stack. Like 2 instances of Bless, for example, even if Bless is gained from a different effect, do not stack, right? That I do want to be true, and that'll be true across everything without specific exceptional rules. But I think there's something to be said that I don't want the fear of a meta shift to keep me from making synergistic combinations. I think I just need to make sure that the combinations are within the realm of within the realm of reason. Because Bless is fading, Trance is fading, enemy interaction, combinations, things like that. I think I just go with my instinct, because I'm probably going to change a lot of this anyway whenever we start doing the test games. I think I should just keep that in mind, that whatever I write here is not set in stone, and I'd be so worried about it. Put down the basic mechanic, put down a playable state, and then actually find out what people do. Because who knows, maybe they won't take the trance. Maybe they'll like something else. I mean, Duelist Dance is pretty good. Cleave is also good. Oh, I'm actually excited about what to do with Cleave. I think it's going to be awesome. I think Cleave is going to be a really cool effect. Yeah. You know, I just thought of something. Maybe I should do the classes in a different way. Something that just hit me. Maybe instead of doing 2 of each of these, you get 1 of each of these, and then as you level up, you choose 1 of the current level, and then 1 of the previous level. And then you do that with each level up. So that way you can fill out your character as you level. Yeah, that might be a better way to do this. So you could eventually get these 3 if you gave up, like, these. And yeah, you'd have, like, constant choices. I like that. Maybe I'll consider that. That might be a better way of doing it. Yeah. Interesting to think of. Okay, anyway. Alright, I think I'm going to do trance as just a static bonus. But it's going to be to both attack and AC. Because trance isn't rage. But it won't be for damage. So there's a big trade-off there. Like resistant and exposed, yeah. Imbued incurs a bonus to attack rolls and AC. Incurs a +1 bonus to attack rolls and AC. Tier 1 effect. Oh, hold on, just do 1. Tier 1 effect. I should just use Roman numerals because I'm going to confuse people if I don't use them. Tier 1 effect increases to +2 instead. Hello, the name is Frost, Interstellar Frost. How are you today? I don't know. Getting work done. Feeling pretty good. Let's see here. crit bonus. So keen effect. Because rage gets base damage bonus. Actually, no, I don't want that. I don't want trance to have all three. It has to give something up. How you doing, Van? I've seen you in here a couple of times. Usually you say some random shit and then I don't see you again, so. This camera's driving me crazy, just fucking. Wonder what happens, can I like reset it if I do this and then you look back up at me? Oh, that seemed to not do anything. So. Whom? Psst, me? Yeah. This fucking camera is driving me crazy. Alright. Ooh, I can make them give renewed. That's something to consider. Yeah, renewed 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, I could do that. I think that's good. Make it physical based. Yeah. And at maximum trance, they should get a surge effect, I think. Let me double check rage. What did I give rage? There we go. Oh yeah, that's right. They just double all their damage. Yeah, I think 14 damage is comparable. Sweet Jeebus. haste effect should be... Because maintaining max trance will be very hard, so it should be good. Probably tier 3. Tier 3 too much? Tier 2 is pretty good. You got movement rating, got initiative rolls. Are there any double-edged afflictions, like damage boost but take more damage, affliction / imbuements? Yeah. Yeah, that's what rage is. Here, I'll show you again. Rage and Fury is an affliction and an imbuement. So, affected, which is the word used when it's both, incurs a bonus to damage dealt and a penalty to damage received from all sources it controls and that affect it from enemies. This bonus is equal to the tier of the rage effect. Duration is 3 rounds. And then later you have affected is vulnerable to the distracted affliction if using rage. If affected by fury, it applies to compulsed instead. Affected is resistant to staggered and frightened, so on and so forth. Affected is exposed to the bleed affliction, resistant to blind deaf, vulnerable to exhaustion. So essentially, as your rage gets more intense, the idea is you become vulnerable to being distracted, like taunted and stuff like that, because you're angry. You become easier to be... you get exposed to the bleed affliction, right? Because you don't notice that you're bleeding because you're so mad. And then eventually you're vulnerable to exhaustion because you're exerting yourself in a very uncontrolled manner. And then the final one is you give yourself the wounded affliction, which is essentially the dying state, but in exchange, you double all the damage that you do. That rage gives you, which is 14 at tier 7. So I think it's pretty cool. We'll see how it acts whenever it actually hits play and we see what people do with it. But I think it's pretty good. Any others thinking about for affected? Oh, yeah. There's one other one. There's 2 other ones, actually. Sorry, this camera is so zoomed in. Maybe I don't want to sit too far back. Let's try that. Adjust it. I don't know how to get it to zoom back out to where it was. That's how I do it. But yeah, let's see. The other one is... Madness is both, because the madnesses are going to be a series of good and bad effects that you could get. Like some madnesses have bonuses, some have negatives, some have both. So that one's going to be one that's both. And then you have alkalized. And alkalized is both because alkalized covers potions, poisons, things like that. So, there you go. Oh, you're right, I do. Okay, let's change that real quick. As to whether or not I'm going to need to make any more conditions and stuff, I guess we'll have to see. These are just the base ones I could think of. Probably after we get through the first wave of testing is when I'll be able to hash it out more. There's really only so much I can do with just theory crafting and stuff like that, because I want to be able to make like abilities and stuff and make them easy to read and easy to understand. But there's going to be variants. There's going to be things I will think is cool, but me just adding it willy-nilly is not something I want to do, because it's like then players get confused. And I really want the small numbers, big decisions thing, the mantra, to matter a lot, and I also want to lower the confusion rate. Yeah. So far, I think I'm doing a good job, though. Like, I really am confident that people will understand this. Because if you don't understand how it works, you just have to click on the button to know what you have. Like, you just have to go through it, right? Literally just reading it will explain every piece. And the cool part about it is we'll know where every bonus comes from. Instead of it being some errant +1 somewhere, it'll be, you have these effects. I think tier 3 surged is... Should I give that to them? Maintaining a high level of trance will be hard. So I'm going to give it to them. Because I think it's going to be hard. That's what my instinct says to do, so... Any thoughts around what level each of the tiers will be around? So, the cool thing about that is that they are going to be essentially supplanted around the action point game. So you start with 4 action points. So that means up to tier 4 interaction is possible, if rare, and levels 1 to 2, right? At level 3, you get another action point. So that means up to tier 5. And then at level 6, you get your 6th action point. So that means up to tier 6. And then at level 9, you get your 7th action point, which is then tier 7. And level 10 is the max level in Prism. But that's the idea. Okay, so now we need to do fading and compounding. Let me go grab rages, because it'll be similar but not the same. So rage, for those of you that are interested, the fading works for raged is that whenever they would make an attack, they lose 1 round of rage in accordance to the normal fading rule. So that means that every time you attack, you lose 1 tier of rage, right? Oh, thank you, camera. You lose 1 tier of rage, right? So, that means that while in rage, attacking a lot is actually bad. So you're more favored to use big weapons while raging in order to keep as much rage as possible, but still do the most damage. So rage is meant for you to take, big weapon hits. So that's the design around it. And the compounding, which means it improves, you gain a tier, is if you are dealt damage by an enemy source, this effect gains an additional round of rage, additional round of duration, like your rage goes up, and this occurs even if the damage is prevented by this imbuement. So your rage goes up as you're dealt damage, and your tier of your rage goes down, or your rounds of rage. Sorry, not tier. Your rounds of rage go down as you make attacks. And this occurs even if the damage would be prevented by the imbuement. So the idea is that the best and most optimal... I'm not going to use my hands. The camera's going to freak out. The best and most optimal use of rage is to run into the middle of a bunch of enemies with a two-handed weapon, which is exactly the aesthetic fantasy of a raging barbarian really is, right? Like, that's... Get in there, champ. However, on the inverse, on the other side, is that trance is probably going to work this way. Trance will be whenever you whenever you make an attack and miss, you lose a round of trance, right? And whenever you, that's what. If you miss while in trance, you lose a round, and if you hit, you gain a round, or you gain a tier up. I have to decide when do you go tier up, and when do you go tier down? I have to think about that. Because I want trance to be momentum based, and I want rage to be danger based. Let me think about this. Fading means that the duration ticks down each round. So you can't just, like, not engage with enemies because your rage will go away eventually. And the normal fading rules means that you'll also lose a tier when you lose rounds. Or you lose a tier if it, Compounding is that if you are dealt damage, you gain an additional round of duration. But should that make the rage go up? I think it should. So the power of the rage that you receive is actually determined by where it starts. Or I could give rage to have a maximum you can reach that goes up as you gain levels. I think that's the better way to do it. Yeah, if I just put a cap on rage based off level, then that means I don't have to worry about it. People can maintain their rage. Yeah, I think that works. I think it works really good. Do you have a calm emotion style affliction, or is that compulsion? Compulsion. And compulsion-esque effects. Fading Work says whenever they make an attack, they lose one. Okay, here we go. Works as whenever the imbued would deal damage with a successful melee attack, they gain 1 round of trance. I think I'm doing this wrong. I don't think I need rounds because the tiers go up and down. Noting rounds is not really needed. Yeah, I don't need this duration because as long as they have rage, they have rage. I don't need duration. Yeah, I don't think I need duration at all. What's up, SGS Knight? If the effect is dealt damage, so this effect increases its tier by 1. So the idea, and just to be clear, one of the things I plan on doing with Rage is making it activate when you take damage. So Rage in this system isn't going to cost you action points to activate. It's when you're attacked, you activate Rage. So it's optimal to go in, attack, be attacked, activate Rage, stack up your Rage, and then on your turn hit back, and then you cycle back and forth, right? And so what that does is that gives an enemy, like an enemy response to Rage would be, like if you got like a shield or whatever, right? And somebody's raging and coming at you. Let's say the party's fighting like a raging orc barbarian, right? He's coming in, he's swinging. You know attacking him will only up his rage. So instead, you taunt him, which he's vulnerable to. You hold up and you save your action economy for blocking, and you literally just weather him out until he tires himself out, right? Now, the disadvantage is that you have to deal with the rage damage, but once it's expended, it's expended. And that's, yeah, I think that's good. I think that's nice counterplay. You've got taunting, you've got raging, you've got, different pieces there. I think that works. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. And I should do the same thing with trance in terms of gaining and losing. With a successful melee attack, they gain 1 tier of this imbuement. Or rather, no. They increase the tier of this imbuement by 1. I have to make sure my terminology is correct. So let me go check Rage. Reduce increases its tier by 1. Okay. They increase the tier of this imbuement by 1. Wait. Oh, I got that wrong. It's, that's compounding. This is would miss with a melee attack. They decrease the tier of this imbuement by 1. Yeah. Yeah, this is better. So how this works is, so let's say you start trance, right? You hit. Your bonus to attack goes up and AC goes up. So that means your chance to continue your trance is increased slightly. Your ability to stop, taking damage. Maybe instead of missing, because I wanted trance users to be people that use multi-hits, because it's the other side of the coin from rage. So maybe what I do is compounding works as whenever the imbue would deal damage. Yeah, that's fine. Maybe instead of missing is if they're hit by a melee. Yes, let's do that. Imbuement by 1. Okay. Whenever the imbued would be hit by an attack. Yeah, I think that's much better. Yeah, well, trance is going to be similar to focus, yeah. So the idea here is, okay, you enter trance. You attack like 3 times, right? Because you want to get as many attacks in as possible to get your trance up, so that you have a level of a wall against getting hit. Yeah, that works perfect because it's the inverse of rage. Rage, you want to be hit because your rage goes up, right? And you want to attack with one big weapon hit so that your rage goes down very little. Whereas in trance, you want to attack as many times as possible, and then you don't want to be hit, which trance slightly helps you out with by giving you an AC bonus. And then at higher level trances, you have the ability to heal yourself over time if you take a hit and then you're trying to recover, right? And then if you're doing very well at the highest levels of trance and you are rocking it, right? And you didn't miss and nobody's hit you, then you get to surge and then you're juicing, right? And that's pretty good. I think that's good. And I can always put a cap to the max of a trance or rage effect based off of the source that gives it to them. Those effects are still always available. Like, it's not like these are infinite stacking or anything. I think this is really good. I really like that. Because that's 2 different character types that want to use a martial state of battle. And the thing is, you can still use a 2-handed weapon if you want. In fact, yeah. And like, if I go to the warrior pool, right? Reaver has great weapon specialist, but you don't have to choose that. You can just choose trance and charge, and then something else, like maybe gladiator or whatever if you wanted. But you could still use a 2-handed weapon with trance, and you could still use multi-weapon fighting with rage. That would be build dependent, right? Like if you wanted to burn your rage out really fast, you go in, you taunt a bunch of people, they all attack you, you boost your rage up, and then with 2 axes, you just shit on people, right? Now I have to decide, though, Um, do I want trance and rage to stack? Like, can you be in rage and trance at the same time? My instinct says no. And I should probably make that a hard rule, that you cannot be in both. What class gives rage if Reaver gives trance? Rage is given out by... I mean, the base rage is from Berserker, which is the Y-Star, or Wistar, the Yggdrasil Isles warrior. But others will gain access to it. Like, you can cast rage, for example. You can get it from a magic source, which is called Fury, by the way. And there's other places to get it. See, the thing is, I still think trance works with Reaver, even if you wanted to go full Reaver with the two-handed weapon specialist and stuff. Because, yes, you'll get less attacks to generate more trance, but you'll also be dealing a lot of damage as well with a higher attack. And the higher level trances means you're regenerating health and stuff like that, which for a Reaver can be really cool too. I think it fits both fantasies. I think it fits both sides of the coin. Like, because the whole point of this is that you can do it if you want. I'm getting back into watching your campaigns as I've got a lot to catch up. You're not wrong there, Knight. There's a lot to watch. A character should be able to do either if they want that build, but not both at once. But I could see a player switching from trance to rage each round. Yeah, that's true. Like, if somebody wanted to play a Reaver Berserker, they could choose which states they want to be in, but they just can't be in both. I'd be okay with that. Maybe you start the fight in trance, and then as you lose trance, you activate rage, because now you're pissed. You know what I mean? That could be a cool thing. Like a second phase for a player character. That might be a really cool character concept, yeah. I just hope there's more access points. Well, I don't want to make them be too many, Gaz. I think that kind of defeats the purpose, right? Because that's the unique factors that those classes have. And there'll be some other access points, but there's not going to be that many by design. Like, Guard, for example, even though it sounds simple, it's going to do, like, reinforce in both you and another target. Like, it's going to be big. I want each and every single one of these effects to matter. And then, of course, there's the, you know, higher level stuff as well, and yeah. I cannot wait to see people pay the Tyrant, man. The Tyrant's gonna be so sick. Okay, I think we finished Trance. Ooh, Bestowed. Okay. Bestowed is a pretty exciting one. because bestowed is about auras. We aura farming. Alright. I need to go to the thinking throne. I'll be right back while I think about this and also other things that I need to do. All right, I'm back. Blah. Okay. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. I'm like, my brain's all over the place right now. Let me see Wanderer. Sure. Not a lot done on this side yet. Still got a lot to do, but you've got Bard, who has Inspire and has songs and stuff like that. You have Assassin, Saboteur, Marksman, the Drifter, the Stalker. Then you have Cord Keeper, Solitaire, Shinobi, Guild Merchant, Raider, Nos Fiend. And then the cores are Acrobat, Pack Hunter, Collector, Courier, Charlatan, Delver, Judge, Enforcer, Detective, Surgeon, Sojourner, Navigator, Savant, Closer, Gregorian, Thief, Infiltrator, and Explorer. But I still got to do a lot of work on them. Okay. Let's see. Imbued incurs 10-foot aura depicted by the controlling source. 10-foot aura. A 10-foot aura, which effects are determined. Of which effects are determined by the controlling source. $10, $15, $20, $25, $30, $40, $60. Nah, I should do 30, 40, 60. That was easy. Bestowed's going to be one of those imbuements that's going to be attached to a bunch of other ability subsets, and that will ultimately have its effects determined by the source, and not really a lot of core features, except the size of the aura. So that way, whenever I say this ability bestows a tier 3 aura that does the following, it is referencing a tier 3 bestowed. Yeah, that'd be good. Or gains an aura with the following: bestowed tier 4, and then you have the effects underneath. And under notable rules, we'll go auras trigger their effects at the start of the round unless specified otherwise by the controlling source. So auras go off at the start of the round, not the start of a creature's turn or an enemy's turn. It's start of the round. Yeah, like how I did formations. Well, yeah, that's why you do it, Gaz, because initiative is re-rolled each time. You know what's cool about the alkalized effect is that if somebody's using poisons or whatever to get you, you can drink a potion to counteract the poison, like as a base. Isn't that cool? But on the other hand, if you're affected by a poison, then you can't drink a potion, because you have alkalized in you. I think that's cool. Because alkalized is both sides, right? And that gives manipulation to the game state, where, like, poisoner specialist rogues can reduce someone's alkalized so that they can poison them. I think that's cool. If I recall, Vagabond can take one core class from each trait. So Vagabond, which is different. So Standard Adventurer picks one archetype: Warrior, Faith, Mana, Wanderer, right? And then underneath each of those columns, you get to pick 3 classes. Of those 3 classes, only one may be a continent, and only one may be a core skill. You can have as many of these, up to 3 as you like, and any combination therein. A Vagabond character only gets access to the core classes, but They can choose any 3 of them from any column. That's the difference. Oh boy, channeled. Channel. Daijobu, daijobu desu. Ew, oh fucking shitting. Alright, this one's gonna be important to get right, because it is going to be probably one of the most common imbuements. Yeah, it's mana generation. I just gotta think of how I want it to work. Imbued gains 1 mana point immediately and at the start of the round. No, I don't need that. Gains 1 mana point at the start of the round. Yeah. Should I do immediate? If you use an action point to channel, you get the mana immediately. No. Start a round. Start a round. Imbued reduces the mana cost of an augment of the next augment they can use by 1. Reduces the mana cost of the next augment they use by 1, by 2. Of all augments they use by 1. The tier 1 effect. This unit is increased to 2 instead. Increased to 3 instead. Is increased to 4 instead. Think about that. Yeah. Turn start. Mana point. 1 action point channel. Gain 1 mana point. You have 2. Start of next turn. At the start of next turn, you have 2. Then, that means you can cast reaction-based spells. And that means you can also cast a spell with an augment, or a 2nd level spell. On your turn, you gain 1. So actually, you can cast a level 3 spell. But you wouldn't have access to that yet, because it's still level capped. Okay? I'm okay with that. That gives you some mana to work with. Another question, Arcadum, last one, I swear. First of all, it's okay to ask me questions, and 2, I doubt it's your last one. But go ahead. How will Vagabond's leveling work? Is it technically multiclassing or something else? It's the same as everything else. So, let me show you. Let me show you an adventurer first. So, an adventurer... So, they pick warrior, they go first, second, third, whatever. Let's say you went with knight, gladiator, soldier. So you get 2 from each of these. You get to choose 1 from each of these. You get this no matter what, and you get 1 from each of these. That's how you level, right? You pick abilities from the classes you have. Vagabond does the same thing, it's just that their classes are in different columns. So let's say you went with Knight, Warlock, and Kabbalist. So you would level the same as you did with the other one, picking the same number. Like, it works the same. It's just that the classes are in different columns, that's all. Okay, there we go. More so wondering if channel is a core ability of spellcasters or tied to class features. It is a core ability of all spellcasters. But class manipulations will, for example, give you a higher base tier of channel, so you can get to higher mana thresholds. Do things when you do channel. So if you spend your action points to channel, like, there's a lot of game ability there. Oh, and the thing I'm listening to is from a channel called Ambient Worlds. Lord of the Rings, The Shire, peaceful music and ambience during a midnight thunderstorm. It sounds like remixed Lord of the Rings music. It's kind of cool. Okay, anchored. I know I won't be able to join the main game, but I hope to be able to play test at least. I get you. I hope you do get to join them too. Foamy, you don't have to cast a higher tier. You have to cast an equal tier or a higher tier, which is why it's stackable. It's just a controlled rate of stackable. So casting same tier moves it up 1? Yeah. So, for example, channeled is stackable in that whenever a creature is imbued with a tier of channeled imbued with a tier of channeled, it only increases by 1 tier, and only if the new source of the imbuement is equal to or greater than the current channeled they are benefiting from. So, if you have no channeled at all, 1 channel increases it by 1. And then, if you cast the same one again, you have 1 channeled, which is equal to or greater than. So you go to 2. But if you use a level 1 channeled again, you can't go any higher than 2. That's how it works. There we go. Anchored. So here's what I'm thinking, right? There's going to be certain abilities that give setup potential, and prepared as a way to make that setup potential work. So like a rogue might study an enemy, or one of the tactician or strategist characters might study an enemy, which costs them action points to do, but it gives them the prepared condition, which means the next action that they do costs significantly, like it costs 0, right? Or it can. So it allows you to set up for the next turn, right? And I think that's a really cool mechanic. I think it'll help with rogues, it'll help with strategist characters. Yeah. It's also a really good use for the core action. Let's see if I can find that. The core mechanic of assist. So the core mechanic of assist can give the prepared condition to an ally by you just assisting them, which is you trading your action points for theirs. Wouldn't it be easy to understand if it says reduces the action point cost by X? Oh man, I wish! But nope. Once you add algebra, people lose their shit. While I could read that and be fine, and most people that I know could, for some reason, every time I've used X or algebraic formulation in abilities, it has always been confusing for people. So I tend to try to avoid it if I can. But yes, you're right, Cape. It would be far less wordy that way, but it's a give and take thing, right? I even think saying something that you gain a bonus equal to this tier, the tier of this thing that's giving it to you, is still going to be confusing for people. But there's got to be some give, right? The X is the value of each tier, so tier 1 would be reduce the cost. Yeah, but the problem is, Cape, is that I want it to stop at tier 3, though. I don't want it to go higher than that. I don't want it to be the full tier. Because I have other plans for the prepared action. Let's do speed. Ooh, that's something. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Thanks, Connor. What did I call that? Consumable? Consumed. Looks good to me. Alright, now we enter the big problem, chat. What am I going to do with crits? Rolling dice again for crits is something that I both like and don't like. I like it because rolling dice is fun. I don't like it because that if you are using a lower die threshold, you can roll a 1 on your crit dice, and you can actually do less damage than a normal hit. And I don't think that that feels good. So, what I think I should do is that whenever you critically hit, you gain a static damage bonus equal to your character level or something like that. Or maybe a max damage. Yeah. It should be based off what level of keen that you have. But I think max damage is probably one of the better options to go with. That way you know how much damage a crit does, and you know if you can drop something based off of the crit. And then I can just add different crit effects, like things that increase damage or roll extra dice and stuff like that. But I think that's how I should do it. So, the idea is that I want, yeah, small numbers, big decisions. That max damage is the easiest way. Because that way, big weapons do more crit damage, quotations, because their die is higher. And I think that's good. Plus, on the keen effect, which is what I'm doing right now, I'm going to add additional damage output, so it's like everybody can crit and deal max on a weapon damage, right? But with keen, you actually do some serious crit damage and stuff like that, right? Okay, imbued incurs a bonus to critical damage equal to the tier of this effect. Imbued may add a critical effect determined by the control source. There we go. That last one's a little complex, but it's basically Vorpal. We're making good progress. I think I might actually finish today. And that's gonna be so cool to be done with this stuff. Oh man. Let's see how many days I got left in June. 4. Yeah. I basically need to, after I'm done with this, I need to spend all the rest of the time of June getting ready for the Kickstarter. Like, just channeling everything I got into that. Well, that and also the finale as well, which is on the 29th, so... Tier 5. Imbued. Incurs a... Imbued can... Concealed and invisible. What do I do with that? Imbued treats all creatures benefiting from the concealed, invisible imbuement as if it were a tier below. As if it were two tiers. Let me go double check invisible. Is that even applicable? Yep, perfect. That setup is perfect. Maybe I should... I think this should be lowered down, actually. I think that should be lower. Okay, we're going to figure this out. So this should be where this is. And this... is. This blind. Let me make this deaf. To the blind and deaf. That's what we do. Let's put both of them there. Tier 5. Wait, did I delete a tier? I think I did. Tier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh shit, there's no 6. Whoops! tier 4. Effect of this imbuement reduces the tier of blind and deaf by 2 tiers instead of 1. And the tier 6. Be right back, chat. Okay, I'm back. Lots of stuff going on, chat. Whoo! Okay. Let's get this stuff done. Sick, yeah. Alright, guys, we got 2 more left. Man, all the syntax in my head, I'm trying to like figure it all out as I go along and set it up for future references and stuff. I think I'm doing a pretty good job, but man, it's hard to keep track. Like, I'm maxing out my brain right now, trying to think of things I haven't thought of yet to set up spaces for them. But this needs to be done. I have to finish it before I can do anything else, so. What to do at tier 4. is my battle net doing? Stop that. Man, I'm stuck on this one, man. That's tier 3 regeneration. Tier 3 regeneration is bleed, seep, poison, toxin. I think I should move those up. I think they're powerful and they should be... Well, what am I going to do with mana? That's true. I'm gonna have to think on life drain and mana drain a little bit more. It's pretty powerful, but I couldn't see a way around it. Making it fading would be hard because I think I'm just gonna make it round based instead of fading. Yeah. That's what I'll do. I'll limit it on the back end. I mean, it's not stackable, so I get to control each aspect of it. Now we're fucking talking. Okay. Alright, guys. I'm on the last one. I had a Where's My Camo and my LGS board game night. At the end of our session, we were talking about D&D and a social media, and the Dungeons & Dragons cartoon came up, and this teenager at my table says, "You mean the Vox Machina?" And when we told him, no, the D&D cartoon, we didn't know we were talking about, and said, "Wow, that looks like something on Boomerang." To be fair, the animation is dated. But, yes. Classic D&D cartoon was really weird, actually. It was kind of strange, but it's all good. I might have to change up the rest types. Do you read chat? Yeah. What's up? Kylie? Kelly? I hope to see you in the Discord there, Lily Gina. Okay. I think we did it. Alright. I think we got there. We finally did it. Holy shit, we got there. Okay, so let me walk you through the plan for supply, because it's going to be probably one of the most important conditions that people have to deal with. So first of all, it's a party imbuement. It's consumed, and it's a mundane source. And the idea is that in order to level up or recover, important resources, whatever those might be, you have to comfortably long rest. So you need at least a tier 3, right? In order to long rest at all, you need to have a tier 2 level of supply. And then in order to short rest, you have to have at least a tier 1 supply. So the idea is that you are given basic supplies which give you tier 2, right? And those tick down every time that they're used. And you have to long rest every day, right? While overland traveling. I'll probably come up with some extra rules. But anyway, the point is that it ticks down each time. So every time you long rest, you tick down a supply. But every time you short rest, you also tick down a supply. So it counts both, right? So the idea is how many times you mess up in battle, how many risks you take that don't pay off, may tick down your resources. So every supply ticks down. And obviously short rests are faster than long rests, and you might not be in a position to long rest, but you still need to short rest. That's the idea. Now, here's the big thing. Short rest is going to be weaker than long rest. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it yet, but it's not going to be like an abs. I think the only absolute recovery where you get everything back is going to be a comfortable long rest. So I'm going to have to figure out how it works. But anyway, the point is that part of the adventuring requirements will be figuring out how many of your supplies you want to use. And it's not going to be like, ooh, do I have torches? Like, no, none of that shit matters, right? Because it does for roleplay purposes, but it's to determine whether or not you are supplied. It's just going to be you have supplies. They're going to have a set weight. That's it. They're not going to have any extra stuff. It's going to be both rations and your adventuring kit and your sleeping roll, all of that rolled into one that you are supplied. Comfortable long rest to reduce wounded and shattered. That's, something like that. It's, I'm going to have to figure it out. I think what I want to do base-wise is that short rest gives you back some HP. Long rest gives you back like half your HP. And maybe reduces some of the more like exhaustion, stuff like that. And a comfortable long rest reduces wounded and shattered and, injuries, I should say. It can reduce injuries, and you need it to level up, and you restore all your hit points. So the idea is that if you get wounded and shattered, you get downed, and you take an injury, a long rest doesn't cure that injury. Only a comfortable long rest does. So basically, you have to get back to town to begin to remove those things. And then you go through what, on the injury table, it's probably going to be the scar roll to see that if you recover from the injury, if it leaves a scar or not. Stuff like that. So scarification will still be pretty bad. Are you making this in Map Tools? I am making this in Foundry, which is the new TT tabletop, virtual tabletop I'm using. Yep, I think this is going to be good. Well, we did it, guys. Like, we really did it. I can't believe I finished those, to be honest. I thought it was going to take me way longer. But we got it done, so now I can work on only Kickstarter stuff from this point forward. And then launch it, and then once that's launched, then when July comes around, nothing but classes the whole way through, because I'll have all the pieces that I need. Well, I think that's going to be it for me, guys. I got to get ready for my IRL game, all that good stuff. You guys are great. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. Don't forget that the big finale is this Sunday, which I'll be going over everything that happened in Corvallis and all that good stuff, and I hope to see you guys there. And then, yeah. It's gonna be good. All right, I'll see you guys. Thanks for watching.